Hi, and welcome to Omni Edition Garden City. I'm Dan York. With me now is Brian Marciniak. He is Garden City's treasurer, and we want to talk to him about his role with the community. He is fairly new to Garden City, not brand new, but fairly new. First of all, welcome to our program.
Well, thanks.
So explain to folks who don't understand, and we'll go back and talk about your background in a minute, but currently you are the city treasurer, which is actually a pretty new position.
Yes, it was developed or approved by charter amendment in November of 19, and so they split one big job into two.
Okay.
So now that we have a clerk in the city and now we have a treasurer.
And prior it was the city clerk treasurer by charter.
Correct.
And then there was usually a deputy treasurer also. So really the same amount of positions, but separated now more closely as other communities have done.
Every community in the area operates similar. Yes.
Okay. So what changes occurred in splitting the department into two, or were there not many changes at all?
Not many changes. I mean, already there was like several sub-departments in clerk treasurer, and basically there is 5 of them, and I took over 3 of those departments, and then the clerk has 2 of those departments.
Okay. And for the residents, it was basically seamless.
It was seamless for the residents.
They don't notice, they don't see anything different whatsoever when they come into City Hall.
No, not at all. We still work, and we work closely together, and everyone's still sitting in the same spots mostly.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been with Garden City?
Started in Garden City in the middle of July.
Okay.
Previously to that, I worked for over 5.5 years in Flat Rock. Started off as a treasurer, CFO position, and then also took on duties as city administrator in my tenure down there. And then prior to that municipal experience, I worked in Wayne for about 8.5 years, and unfortunately an economic downturn was a casualty of that. Sure. In the city. And then I went back. I'm a CPA, so I fell back on my certificate and worked back in the CPA industry for 5 years in between Wayne and Flat Rock. And
Matt Miller, our city clerk, also worked in Wayne for quite some time.
Yes, he did. Him and I were familiar. We worked for several years together. Well, my 8.5 years in Wayne, we were together.
Okay. Explain what the finance department or what the treasurer's department does.
Oh, we do several things, actually. We issue the tax bills. We also collect the tax bills. My department also oversees the accounts payable, invoicing from our vendors. We also process the payroll for everybody in the city. Also, we keep track of all the accounting for all the other departments. And then also my department oversees water billing and collections as well.
And the city has an $18 million budget, plus all of these other items that go well over $18 million.
Correct. And then, but when we collect taxes for several agencies, including the state of Michigan, Wayne County, Garden City Schools, and then we have to disperse that accordingly as well.
And there are lots of state and federal and county mandates that you have to deal with in your role and in your department's role.
Yep, there's a lot of reading and a lot of filing. Yeah, we do a lot of paperwork to push in our department.
Okay, and obviously the heaviest traffic that comes into City Hall is normally when it comes time to pay those taxes twice a year.
Yep, so you pay taxes twice a year at the end of August. A lot of people come in and try to beat the year end in December, but really the winter tax bills aren't due until Valentine's Day on the 14th of February.
Okay, very good. Tell us a little bit about your family and where did you grow up and stuff like that?
Sure, grew up in Wayne, graduate from Wayne Memorial, have 2 children. We currently live in Canton. Have 1 in college and 1 that recently graduated from college.
And big into sports?
My family's been big into sports, a lot of travel sports throughout the kids growing up. One of them just completed, both of them play sports in college as well, and one just graduated from college, and we'll be missing that sports and have to find a new interest.
So we're past the winter tax season. We're not quite to the summer tax season. So now comes up is Board of Review and assessments on homes and properties, right?
Correct. So every February we send out notices of changes in your assessment of the value of your homes. And then after opening those letters, they'll be sent to every home. If they deem that their house is overvalued, they can petition the Board of Review, which meets in March on the 11th, 12th, and 13th, to have petition for a change in value at that point in time.
So obviously you weren't here for this, but I'm sure you experienced this in Flat Rock and in Wayne when the value of homes went down so much at the end of 2008, 2009, 2010.
Yep.
There weren't a lot of people coming to the Board of Review probably because the value of their house had come down so extremely. And in the case of a lot of people, it meant a cut in taxes.
Well, actually, the contradictory to that is typically the values didn't go down low enough. So those days we were actually packed with people.
Oh, were you?
Trying to get it adjusted to the correct value of the homes being sold next door to their house as well. The market dropped faster than the assessing mechanism in order to decrease the value on those homes.
Okay.
So it was a busy time actually for the boards of review.
And
it slowed down more so in recent years.
And obviously with the thing with Michigan is that as the value of the home goes up, the tax value can only go up at a certain level. It can only go up at the rate of inflation of 5%, whichever is less, correct?
Correct. This year the rate of inflation is 1.9%. And so that being said, somebody said, well, my house, they might have the state assessed value of being $100,000, and which means double your value, so it'd be a $200,000 home. They're saying my home's not worth $200,000; it's only worth $150,000, but their taxable value may be less than $75,000. So they may get an adjustment in their assessed value from the state, but they may not see a taxable value change because there is such a difference between the estimated sale price and the actual taxable value, as you mentioned. That gap is limited on how fast we can recover from those losses in 2008 and 9.
Okay. So if people want to try to challenge their assessment and challenge their tax rate, the assessment comes in February, what do they do?
There'll be information on the forms on the change notices that are sent out. They'll call our office, schedule an appointment, and then we'll go from there. And they'll come in and have to present to the board, or they can submit documentation to the board, and the board can act on that way. So they can either come in person, they can submit documentation and not come to the board of review. Also at that point in time, we take in any veterans exemptions for disabled vets. That's when those will be adjusted as well as anybody who's claiming a poverty exemption under the federal poverty guidelines.
Okay, very good. All right, well, I want to thank you for taking time to speak with us and kind of belatedly, at least on television, welcome you to Garden City.
You got me eventually, didn't you?
And wish you the best of luck with the new position of treasurer here in town.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, that's Omni Edition Garden City for today. Thanks very much for watching. Good night, everybody.